Hi there everybody, Ollie here, aka Secret Nimbus here with a special video which is replacing tonight's deck tech. Basically I've ran out of time this week to actually record a deck tech, so instead I'm looking at my top 10 most frustrating cards in the Magic Duels meta. So we're going to be looking at cards today which both frustrate to be played against and also extremely satisfying to be played with. So yes, will be a mix of creatures, enchantments, spells, stuff like that, and we're just going to be running through them. So for number 10, we are looking at Lilia, Heretical Healer, and also her flipped Planeswalker version, Defiant Necromancer. So to start off with, Lilia is a 3-mana, 2/3 lifelinker, so you know, already a pretty good creature on her own. But when you lose a creature, either through sacrifice or death, she then flips over, puts a 2/2 zombie token in her place, and then becomes a Planeswalker. And this is where the frustration really starts. So initially her +2 ability is forces both players to discard a card. You know, fairly frustrating on in its own merit, forcing you to discard cards which you might want to keep. Her middle ability, her -X, isn't too bad, very rarely gets played with Liliana, but it's able to bring back creatures from a graveyard and put them onto the battlefield. But the ultimate frustration with Liliana is her ultimate ability. So her -8 ability puts an emblem onto the controlling player's side of the board, which basically means that any creature that dies gets brought back under their control. This is non-tokens, so you can't get rid of token creatures and bring them back, but any non-creature token that dies is brought back and immediately put into play. So you can lose creatures over and over and over again, and they keep getting brought back, which is what makes Liliana, Defiant Necromancer, extremely frustrating. So number 9, we have Sphinx's Tutelage. So Sphinx's Tutelage is pretty much the only mill card in this deck. There are a few others, but they're far less effective than Sphinx's Tutelage, which is the only kind of continuous mill card. So whenever the controlling player draws a card, they force the opponent across the board to ditch 2 cards into their graveyard. If those 2 cards share a colour and are non-lands, you put 2 more into the graveyard, and it keeps repeating until basically there's 2 there's 2 either same coloured cards or 2 non-lands or 1 land goes into the into the graveyard. That's what I'm looking for. Use your words, Ollie. So yeah, Sphinx's Tutelage is very, very frustrating to play against, especially with the abundance of card draws, such as Animus Awakening, is that the right one? Yeah, and Inspiration. So the artifact draw card and Inspiration, which is the 4-mana draw 2 cards. Also, it's got its second ability, which you can then pay 6 mana and draw a card and discard a card, further increasing its mill potential. And yeah, being milled down by Sphinx's Tutelage is very, very frustrating, especially with 2 or 3 of them on the battlefield as well. You can get milled down very, very quickly, and the fact that an opponent draws a card every turn basically guarantees that Sphinx's Tutelage mills 2 cards at least once a turn. So that is why it fills the number 9 position. At number 8, we have Unmasked, Locus of Rage. So this is one of my favourite cards in the game. I love Unmasked, but at the same time it's very, very frustrating to play against. So for 7 mana, double red, double green, you get a 5/5 elemental, so you know, a pretty big body on the battlefield. But the next frustration that comes from Omnath is its landfall. So it gets to generate 5/5 elemental tokens every time a land comes into play. So for the abundance of ramp introduced with Zendikar, you're pretty much looking every time you play, when you've played Omnath, you're pretty much looking to generate probably 2 or 3 tokens within the first few turns that it drops. But probably the best bit about Omnath is its second ability. So whenever an elemental creature token dies, you get to dish out 3 damage wherever you choose, at creatures, at players, at planeswalkers. It's pretty awesome. So that doesn't just include Omnath and any of the elemental creature tokens that it generates. This also includes elemental creatures such as Zendikar Incarnate, which is pretty awesome, as you're probably going to include several of those elemental creatures in a ramp deck anyway. So yeah, this is why I both love and hate Omnath. Number 7, we have Radiant Flames. So this was introduced in the Zendikar block. So it's a converge card. So when you pay a great and different variety of mana, so between 1 and 5, so you have to pay at least red, so that's at least one damage that it causes across the board. So it's the first of our sweepers. You do 1 damage, but if you paid like red, black, green, you're suddenly looking at 3 damage sweeping the board. It's pretty cheap in terms of a sweeper, so that's quite nice to see, and it's very, very frustrating when you're playing an aggro deck, as it's such cheap removal, and even just 2-colored decks, it's pretty devastating against Thopters, against Elves, and with just that 3rd mana splashed in, it's pretty much like unstoppable. So Radiant Flames is one of the best sweepers in the game at the moment, and it's very, very useful. So at number 6 we have Rolling Thunder. So again, introduced in the Zendikar block. This card is great in ramp decks where you've got lots and lots of mana in play, and it's kind of a pseudo sweeper and at the same time a pseudo kind of mass damage dealer, either at creatures or at players' faces. So for 2 red mana and X other mana, you get to dish out X damage anywhere you choose. So this can be used to completely sweep away aggro decks. It can be used to kill 1 big creature. It can be used to deal lethal damage, and that's why Rolling Thunder is particularly frustrating to play against. At number 5 we have Languish. Languish is awesome. This is one of the best sweepers in the game. So for 2 black mana and 2 of any other colour, you get to basically sweep the board for -4/-4. So it's pretty sweet. So that -4/-4 it's pretty devastating. It's not all encompassing, so Radiant Flames has the potential to be better, but for the guaranteed -4/-4, Languish is amazing. It's been a staple in a lot of control decks since the Origins block where it was introduced, and yeah, you'll see Languish in a lot of decks just because it's very, very powerful and very, very useful. At number 4 we have Perilous Mere. So this will be going soon with the shuffle around of the starter box. So yeah, Perilous Mere is going away after the introduction of the 2 new blocks, but this has been a staple frustrating card for a long time now. This has been doing the rounds since the very beginning of the game. So pre kind of Zendikar, this was probably the most frustrating card, but it's kind of fallen down the order a little bit since the introduction of some of the Zendikar cards and some of the new mechanics in the game. But yeah, Perilous Mere is a 1/1 artifact, so not particularly frightening on its own, but the real frustration of this card comes from its ability to dish out 2 damage anywhere you please. So this card has either the ability to stunt aggro and also help finish off kind of much bigger decks. If you've kind of got it in play at the very end, you need to push through that last little bit of damage by blocking an opponent's creature and then forcing through that 2 damage. So yeah, that's why Perilous Mere is occupying pretty close to the top here, but unfortunately it's going away soon and it won't be frustrating people for that much longer. So at number 3 we have our second Planeswalker, which is Gideon, Ally of Zendikar. So introduced in the Zendikar block, Gideon is pretty fantastic. This is a really great card. Very, very frustrating to play against, mostly because of its ability to just keep generating tokens for free. So it's probably one of the premium token generators in the deck. It's great for ally decks. It's great for control decks. It just fills so many holes. You can also use it to transform Gideon into a 5/5 attacking creature with indestructible, so it can be used to push through a lot of damage as well. Its emblem isn't really that well used. You mostly use this guy to kind of like pump out creatures and to swing at opponent's face. So Gideon is very, very frustrating to play against. Very, very good card, but very, very frustrating. So at number 2 we have Allahmog. So Allahmog, the kind of the poster boy of Battle for Zendikar. So this is an insane creature. So for 10 mana, so really only for ramp decks, as you're very, very unlikely to get 10 mana in a non-ramp deck. You get a 10/10 creature, so already pretty terrifying on its own. But when you cast Allahmog, you get to destroy 2 target permanents, mana included. So you get to destroy lands, you get to destroy enchantments, creatures, whatever you damn well choose when it gets cast. It doesn't have to come into play, so even if it gets countered, you get to cast it. It's indestructible, so can only be destroyed by exile or sacrifice. And then finally, the real premium frustration of Allahmog is whenever it attacks, it essentially mills the top 20, I repeat, 20 cards of an opponent's library. So by the time Allahmog's usually played, within 2 turns the opponent is dead, either through taking like 20 damage or by losing 40 cards. So Allahmog is insane. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite get the top spot in the current meta, and that is taken by the number 1 card, which is Monvuli Acid Moss. Everybody hates this card. Reason being is that it's kind of a dick move. So for 4 mana you get mana destruction and get the ability to ramp up at the same time. So this card is like the ultimate tempo card. It comes, I mean, like turn 4 of a ramp deck, you're suddenly like 2 turns ahead in terms of mana of your opponent. It is bonkers, and people have been getting more and more frustrated with Monvuli Acid Moss the more this meta's gone on. Luckily for all you people that hate Monvuli Acid Moss, it is being rotated out of the starter box and being replaced with a like a 2 mana ramp card. It's basically been replaced with another 4 mana card, which instead of land destruction, it puts two mana in place. So it still gives you that 2 mana boost, but at the same time doesn't stunt your opponent at the same time. So it's kind of fair, but at the same time, you know, there are ways of playing around Monvuli Acid Moss. So it's going to be sad to see it go, but at the same time, it will frustrate a lot less people. And then finally we have the bonus round at the end of this, and that includes Royal Spout. So for any of you that grind against the AI will know how annoying Royal Spout is. It seems like whenever you play against an AI opponent, they seem to have that abundant, like they seem to have like an unlimited supply of Royal Spouts. Literally as soon as your AI opponent has 3 mana on the battlefield, they're pretty much using Royal Spout to bounce your creatures and awaken lands. So yeah, that sneaks in at the bonus at the end. But that concludes my most frustrating cards in the Magic Duels meta. So this can all be shaken up in a couple of weeks' time with the introduction of Shadows Over Innistrad and Oath of the Gatewatch. But for now, for the next couple of weeks, these cards are going to continue to frustrate people and continue to be very fun to play with. But that is the end of the episode for now. So as always guys, don't forget to comment and like if you enjoyed the episode. If you're new to the channel, it's always nice to see you hit subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.